At a crowded market area in Nairobi, where a single gate stands ajar, young men and women stream in from as early as 6 a.m. Join the orderly queue of those who got here before them. Once at a small window opening, they are handed a dose of methadone, followed by a glass of water, and off they go until the following day. This has been Godfrey's routine for 2 years now. He is a recovering heroin addict.
I was a banker, but due to heroin use, I lost my work. But I'm so grateful for this methadone because it has restored me back to sanity. And since I'm about to finish my program, I have started having plans returning back to work.
It is not clear how many people use heroin, but statistics from Kenya's National Authority for the Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse indicate that between 18,000 and 33,000 Kenyans inject heroin. A research conducted in 2015 indicated that 18% of those who injected drugs were HIV positive. The East African nation is staring at a crisis.
The prevalence rates of HIV among this population were actually 3 times the national prevalence.
Here at the Ngara Methadone Clinic, the recovering addicts get methadone treatment as well as other medical services, including free antiretroviral treatment and family planning services for women. Methadone has been used since the 1960s as a safe and effective medication for withdrawal from heroin and for longer-term maintenance for former users who have opted to stop its use.
Methadone as a drug, it just blocks the receptors in the brain. So when they take heroin makes them feel high, and therefore if they don't sustain it, you find they suffer from withdrawal effects. But with methadone, it works almost the same way heroin works, but it makes you remain sober for longer, and therefore suffering from withdrawal effect becomes very minimal. So it makes you also lose that need of wanting to continue with heroin.
The risk is in sharing of needles. So when the users, the people who inject drugs, are basically using needles to inject the drugs, to get the drugs into their system. When doing that, if they happen to share with any other person that is HIV infected, then that provides a route for entry of that infection. Methadone is provided orally. So we are eliminating the use of injection. So when they use that, they won't have the need to go back to the dens and inject the heroin.
Heroin enters Kenya through the port of Mombasa, which started off as a transit point to other parts of the world. While they may be a drop in the ocean, that is a $350 billion market, these recovering addicts tell a story of a generation losing its future to addiction.
I started using because if I don't use it, I'll start having problems like with my stomach, like diarrhea, having headaches and having confusion. But once I take a shot, I feel I'm okay. But my shot will last about 4 hours. I have to go back to take another shot. So I used to take like 4 shots to 8 shots a day.
And how much is a shot?
One shot is about 200 shillings.
Godfrey says he's ready to get off the treatment and pick up his life where he left off when the addiction got his best years.
Before I started coming for methadone, my family had broken up, but now I have returned my family and we're living together, and I'm so grateful for that.
The last 2 years, we've had around 58 of our clients coming clean and telling us they have the intention of actually living, because methadone is supposed to be given for as long as the client still needs it. But then when we get to a point where a client says, where I've reached, I feel like I want to live, then we're able to support them gradually so that even when they stop methadone, they stop it in a way that it does not affect their normal functioning.
In terms of family reintegration and community reintegration, I do agree that there is still a problem because some people have not accepted these people well to the society. There's some bit of stigma that is still there.
Other African countries offering the harm reduction programs include Mauritius, Senegal, and Tanzania. Statistics from the National AIDS Control Council indicate at least 19,000 people in Nairobi alone use injectable drugs. Out of those, only 900 come to the Ngara Methadone Clinic. It may be a small percentage, but those who set up this clinic say it is a good beginning and a sign that they can turn the tide on drug addiction in Kenya. Sarah Kimani, SABC News in Nairobi, Kenya.